Pattern mixing. It can be fun, and when done well, it is a great way to show off style expertise, but it's very high risk, high reward, and unfortunately, every other guide out there misses the most important detail. But don't worry, the secret to pattern mixing shall be revealed. My name is Kin Moy. I'm a former professional fighter turned professional stylist, and this is Dapper Dangerous. Today, we're going to go over the key to successful pattern mixing, as well as a few little tricks that are important too. Quick side note, do you know what's not the key to pattern mixing? Varying the sizing and scale. Now, mind you, that is important, you should always do it, but that's what every other guide, book, article tells you is the key to making this work, but it's actually not essential. I repeat though, you always should, you'll always look way better when you do mix and vary the sizing, because when the sizing is too close and similar, it does run the risk of blurring together and confusing the eye, but you can actually get away with it. What you can absolutely not get away with is missing the secret, the key, the most important aspect of pattern mixing, and that is actually varying the intensity and the boldness of the patterns. It is of the utmost importance when you're mixing patterns that one pattern is significantly bolder and more intense than any of the others. If two patterns are even of somewhat similar intensity, they are going to clash. They are going to fight to the death for your eye's attention, and it's going to be literally painful to look at. Even when you've mixed up the sizing of the patterns, similar intensity will completely kill the look nonetheless. On the other hand, you can actually, not that you should, please don't, but you can get away with patterns that are too closely sized if one is much bolder and more intense than the other. A good outfit should reward the viewer's attention with nuance and measured details. A bad outfit will fall apart under scrutiny and get worse and worse the longer someone looks at it. And in real life, as opposed to Instagram, where someone only sees you for a few seconds as they're scrolling through their feed, in real life, you're gonna be stuck in front of your audience for a lot longer, and garish mismatches in pattern intensity are going to make the outfit look worse and worse and undermine the aura of competence and expertise that you were probably trying to convey. So you've got to mix up the intensity and boldness of your patterns. But how do you tell which pattern is more bold or more intense? Usually you can just eyeball it and tell, but the way to think of it, the framework for this is that vivid, saturated colors and high color contrast are what account for a pattern's boldness. If you look at these two striped ties, the tie that has brighter stripes that contrast more starkly with the rest of the tie is the one that's more intense and more bold. And when you are putting outfits together that feature multiple pattern pieces, it's crucial not just to make sure that they're staggered in their levels of intensity, but also to recognize when certain patterns are too bright, too bold to play nicely with others. For instance, when a piece is this intense, you can't really have any other patterns in your outfit. You have to let that be the star of the show. When you drop it down a notch, here's where you can have that bold pattern piece, but maybe also a pocket square or some textured patterns in there. And it's only when you're at this level of intensity or lower that you can start putting together multiple low intensity patterns, and it can be harmonious and subtle enough that it's only upon further inspection that one is going to even realize and fully appreciate how many patterns are in play. A little color coordination trick that overlaps with pattern play is that the more bold and intense and vivid a piece is, the smaller it should be. For instance, a pocket square you can get away with being extremely loud, but if it were something larger like a shirt or a jacket, that would look horrendous. On the other hand, when you're working with much bigger pieces, like say a suit or even a shirt, it usually pays off to choose one that is a bit more muted and subdued in its colors and patterns. It's actually for this reason that stacking textures is the easiest place to start with pattern play, because you could have a herringbone sport coat and Oxford cloth button down and a knit tie, and it would give you that visual depth and nuance, but only when someone was paying attention. From afar, it would just look like solids, and it would have no risk of clashing or undermining your credibility because you look like a spectacle. Long story short, the secret to pattern mixing is understanding and managing the intensity and boldness of the patterns. The more patterns you have in an outfit, the more subdued and less intense they have to be. And if you want to have pieces that are more intense, they're best when used alone or when they're smaller, like a pocket square or maybe a tie. And finally, you have to understand that after a certain point of intensity, that can be the only pattern piece in the outfit, otherwise they're just gonna clash. Right now, I'm actually wearing 4 pattern pieces. The stripe is pretty intense and visually apparent, as is the medallion print, but I actually also have a very muted plaid jacket, and I've got some knit tie textured action for you. So there you have it. The secret to pattern mixing is out. Manage the intensity and boldness of your patterns. Still pay attention to size and scaling. Make sure that you echo colors across the outfit like you normally would, and you'll be sure to look sharp and sophisticated rather than silly and overdone. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give this video a like if you liked it, follow along for more dapper dangerous content, and I will see you next time.